welcome to the Fertility Conversations podcast. The goal of this podcast is to create more awareness about infertility and to provide support to people trying to conceive. Thank you for listening today, and we hope you will be encouraged. And now, here is your host, Ola.
Welcome to episode 30. Today, I'm joined by an amazing woman, Ashley, who is the founder of ZuriZulani Foundation in Kenya. She joins us today to speak about her journey and also her foundation. To connect with her, you can reach her on Instagram at ZuriZulani Foundation. Her details would also be in the show notes. So welcome, Ashley, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you too, Ola. I'm very humbled to be here.
Thank you. Yay. So we always start off and say, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As Ola has introduced, my name is Ashley. I am a mom and a wife. I'm a mom of two, one in heaven. And thank you. A PR and communications personnel by profession. And I have a foundation called ZuriZulani Foundation that is a foundation that creates awareness on pre-eclampsia, prematurity, and infant loss. Pre-eclampsia is a condition in pregnancy characterized by high blood pressure and protein in urine. So yeah, that's me.
Yay, thank you. So you talked about the foundation and what you do. How did the foundation come about?
I got pregnant in 2017, and my pregnancy was pretty good until the 7th month, when I began swelling and on my face and my hands, and I just thought it's normal pregnancy symptoms, but I didn't know that I'm actually going through a very deadly pregnancy-related condition. So I went to the hospital near where I stay, and they took my BP, and it was extremely high. The nurse even asked me, how are you walking? Because your BP is very, very high. So I remember the doctor telling me, we have to deliver the baby right now because your BP can affect your baby. So I didn't listen to him. I said, let me seek another second opinion. And I went into a different hospital. And when I was there, the hospital said they can't even release me. The BP is very high. They immediately put me on high blood pressure medication. And my 1 month stay in the hospital began at that point. So I came to learn that going through a condition in pregnancy known as preeclampsia, that I have explained, which is caused by high blood pressure and protein in urine. The symptoms are your face swells, your hand swells, you feel dizzy, you get a lot of headaches, you feel very, very tired, and less urine output. So I was in hospital for a month, and the condition got so bad that my organs started failing.
Oh, wow.
So the doctors were like, we cannot hold you anymore, because they wanted at least for me to reach 34 weeks, but I was unable to. So they had to deliver me at 30 weeks. So at 30 weeks, I underwent a C-section, and I gave birth to baby Zuri, who was 1.2 kgs. And thereafter, baby Zuri was taken to the neonatal intensive care unit. So the neonatal intensive care unit handles sick babies and also premature babies. Yeah. So Zuri was in the NICU for quite a long time. She really struggled with a lot of prematurity complications. She had a condition called neck that affected her intestines, that spiraled into other things like bacterial infection. She had a bleed in the brain. She had countless blood transfusions. So she was a very sick baby. Unfortunately, after 49 days of life, Zuri succumbed to neck. And it was a very dark period in my life and the life of my partner. It was very, very difficult. Usually what happens, you don't bury your child as a
Yes.
parent. Your children are the ones that bury you.
Right.
Yeah. But in this case now, you're thinking about doing a burial for such a small child. So it was a very painful season for both of us. And I really didn't want to get pregnant again. In fact, I put every single measure to ensure that I will not get pregnant again. But I got pregnant again after like three months after the burial. I got pregnant again. And now I started the whole journey of pregnancy with a lot of medication. You know, in my first pregnancy, the doctor had said they don't want me to get pregnant at least for 2 years so that I can heal, my wound can heal, and also mentally I can be ready to have another baby. Yeah. And also do a lot of preconception care, bearing the fact that I underwent a very severe preeclampsia. So I went on with my pregnancy. This exact same moment preeclampsia set in the previous pregnancy, it's set in this now pregnancy. At 7 months, I began now experiencing the same symptoms of preeclampsia. So I remember at 30 weeks, I went in to the doctor. The BPs were misbehaving, and the doctor realized that my baby had stopped growing at 26 weeks. So that means they have to do an emergency C-section. So he was preparing me for a C-section the other week because that was on a Monday. So I was being prepared for a C-section on Tuesday the other week. So on Friday and Saturday of that same week, I was given injections to mature the lungs of the baby. Thereafter, on Sunday, we were just relaxing with my husband in the house and we wanted to go for shopping. But I was feeling like I'm in labor. You know, I feel that pain. I feel like my pressure is a bit high. I had a pressure machine at home, and when I checked it, it was pretty high. So I just told my husband, I think maybe this machine has a malfunction. We can go to the nearest hospital and just check my BP before we go to the supermarket. So when we're in the car, I felt like I'm peeing, you know, and I told my husband and we joked about it. I said, I think my water just broke. And we just laughed about it. And we were like, okay, maybe you'll check once you get out of the car. So when I stepped out of the car and I looked down, because I had very dark pants, when I looked down, blood was coming out. It was dripping, you know. So I was seriously bleeding. I went in, I called my doctor and my husband called my doctor and explained everything that is happening. The doctor gave instructions to the resident doctor to give me 2 injections and put me in an ambulance to go to one of our main hospitals here in Kenya. So it was pretty bad during the surgery because when they removed the baby had already flatlined. So she had already lost quite an amount of oxygen. So she had to be resuscitated back to life. So I gave birth to a baby who was less than a kg. She was 975 grams. And my experience after that, she went through the NICU phase. Definitely, it was horrifying to see her go through the same thing that my previous baby went through. And both of us, we didn't have enough faith because we just thought maybe let's not invest so much of our emotions in this baby because she might actually pass on, you know, because she was extremely tiny, very tiny. But thankfully, the baby overcame. She's achieving her milestones and she's almost turning 2 years in January, actually.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, she's my little miracle baby. But the whole experience of having preeclampsia, for me, I'm in a place where I can be able to access technology. I can be able to read about it, yeah. But I really didn't know that there's a pregnancy complication like that. All of us think that pregnancy is bliss, that you just get a baby and give birth, and it's like a natural experience. But people don't realize that pregnancy is not a natural experience. There are people who really struggle getting pregnant. There are people who struggle with pregnancy itself and go through very difficult pregnancies. So I decided to start a foundation that is going to create awareness about this particular condition that is actually becoming very rampant here in Kenya. And a lot of women are dying. In fact, yesterday I was hearing a story of another lady who lost her life because of preeclampsia, and the doctors didn't know how best to take care of her, and unfortunately, she lost her baby. She lost her life, but the baby survived. So for me, it's to create awareness, to offer support, to offer training, yeah, to moms and also healthcare workers to know how best to treat women with high risk pregnancies such as preeclampsia. So that's where the foundation stemmed from.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's such an amazing story. And again, I'm sorry about your loss.
Thank you.
We are so thankful for your miracle baby. That's just so amazing to think that she went through all of that. And she's here today doing well. So that's really a miracle. Yeah. And it's great as well how you've started the foundation, because again, I'm familiar with that condition in terms of it's quite, you keep saying it all over the internet and people, women dying from it. I used to think, like you said, that swelling of your feet or swelling of the hands were normal, right? Because people say, oh, well, it happens in pregnancy. So I never realized that there's potentially an issue associated with that. And so it's good that your foundation is raising more awareness about that.
Thank you.
So you said that you do training. So you train healthcare workers and moms.
Yeah, at the moment.
Train women and go ahead.
Sorry. So what we do, we attend antenatal clinics and give talks to women who are pregnant, about the danger signs and how to, we don't go deep into the medical stuff, but as a layman would make you understand something, that's how we explain it to moms. And we also go to moms in the informal settlement area.
Okay.
And talk to them as well.
That's wonderful. And is this done only in person, or do you also do sometimes online virtually?
I do also online virtually. There's a group called Cesarean Moms here in Kenya. It's a group of 86,000 women that have gone through C-section. So we do videos there. I have done videos just to educate women also. On preeclampsia, I've done a lot of medical health talks on TV and print media in our local TV stations, as well as magazines, and also the digital, because 2020 has been quite crazy, and having one-on-one connection has proven to be a bit difficult. But on the digital front, that's what we are doing mostly, creating content and sharing content that will educate people.
Sounds great. So now people all over the world can access your training, and even online and virtually, without being in Kenya.
Yes, we actually have a campaign, which is a lifelong campaign called Check campaign, and it's a video of the signs and symptoms, how you can be able to identify what you need to do, who is more susceptible to get preeclampsia. So the video is very elaborate. And we constantly share that video. So anyone else who is not in Kenya can be able to access it and learn about this condition.
Okay, and is that available as well on social media like Instagram and?
Yes, it is available on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, perfect. So we'll also be sharing that on our page just to help raise awareness.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So in your opinion, what role do you think that cultural norms play in how people respond to the diagnosis of preeclampsia? I assume that people must have certain cultural beliefs of what it means or what could potentially be happening if that happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I've
just
met,
wonder if you've had that conversation.
yeah, I've definitely had that conversation with women, and it's pretty unfortunate how the society has put a lot of pressure on women. Pregnant women, you lose a child, there's pressure. You get a child, there's pressure. You get a child who has a bit of issues, there's pressure. That there is a notion that women who give birth prematurely have aborted babies before, and that's what people, the society, and some people tend to believe, that they've gone through countless abortions, so you're not able to hold a baby for long. Yeah. Things like a bad eye, when you swell, the swelling and the abnormal swelling, because at times you even turn very, very dark.
Right.
So we see women saying that someone has looked at you badly, and it's witchcraft. You call it juju in your
Juju or voodoo.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a bad eye, some even opt to go for herbal treatment, and herbal treatment cannot help you when the person doesn't know. Preeclampsia is still a mystery. Yeah. Scientists are still researching as to the reason why it is occurring in the body. Yes, they've linked it to the placenta, but it's not still, it's a gray area. So when you go to a herbalist and get medication for preeclampsia, it makes me wonder, because he can't give you something that maybe he doesn't understand. So those are the cultural issues that surrounding pregnancy complications, and in this sense now preeclampsia, and how women are being treated out there in the communities.
Right. And since you started your foundation and you've been going out and creating awareness, what impact do you think your foundation has been able to make in terms of changing some of these cultural norms and beliefs?
I will credit that to awareness. I would say awareness, because right now, even in Kenya, we don't have a word for preeclampsia. Yeah, we just know pressure. If someone says pressure, you will understand what the person is saying. But people didn't actually realize that this is a deadly condition, that you can actually die from it. Yeah, when we come out and talk to people and change their minds that, this is actually a problem that needs to be treated. So awareness has been really key for us to really speak out and let everyone know, from every class. Everyone should know about these particular conditions, and that ends up changing the perceptions of how people think or thought maybe this particular condition, or someone who exhibits the symptoms, are going through.
Right. And I'm sure that, here in Nigeria, when you have people that experience recurrent loss, or people that have, like you noted, people might associate certain pregnancy outcomes to mean that maybe the woman did something bad in the past, or, she was having a lot of abortions. It's just an assumption. It's not actually a reality, but that's what people think. So in terms of, and so because of that, people might have certain practices that they do. So if someone, for example, has a loss often, they might have certain rituals that they might want to do to help prevent this from happening again in the future. So I'm not sure if you have such practices in Kenya that people might have been doing for people that have experienced pre-eclampsia, or people that have had premature babies. So I'm just wondering if we do have such practices, and if they've been able to change people's mindsets in not having to do that going forward.
I can't say definitively I know of a case, but according to how we, especially in the informal sector, how we, when we do our talks, that that is what we hear, that you will go to be prayed for. Your child has to be sanctified, your womb has to be sanctified, you need to take this for your womb to be sanctified. So I would still say we still have a very long way to go in terms of changing the perception, and that's why for us creating awareness is really key. But we still have a very long way to go in terms of changing the perceptions of people.
Right. But it's one step at a time, and what you're doing so far is great in creating awareness and just letting people be aware, and even the healthcare workers to know that when they see those symptoms to act quickly in helping to treat the mother to prevent any further complications.
Yes.
Right. And if someone is out there listening, what do you want them to know? What do you wish they knew about pre-eclampsia and the impact that it can have on women and babies?
Kindly repeat.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you wish, if someone is out there listening and what about pre-eclampsia, what would you want them to know? What it is and the impact that it can have on women and babies?
I would like to let people know that preeclampsia is dangerous. If you exhibit those symptoms like the swelling, the really puffy swelling on your hands, on your face, on your feet, you feel very dizzy, like you're having palpitations, your heart is beating very fast, you're having headaches, it is very important for someone to go to the doctor. It is better for you to go and the doctor says there's nothing other than staying in the house and just self-diagnosing. If you have preeclampsia, it can be managed. What we advocate is for early detection and treatment. And therefore, if you detect it early, you can be able to manage it and see how far you can go, definitely with medication. We also advocate for preconception care after you've had like preeclampsia. Let's say, let me give an example of me. I would like to get pregnant in the next 2 years, but I know right now, next year means I have to go and see a doctor. The doctor needs to do an analysis of how I am, if I'm ready to have a baby. If not, he can be able to advise me on what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'll start taking supplements to help me before I get pregnant now in 2022. Right. So there needs to be a preconception care where you go to the doctor if you've had even a high risk pregnancy, you've had diabetes, you've had issues in your pregnancy. It is best to see a doctor first when you're planning to get pregnant. Don't go to the doctor after you've already gotten pregnant. It's good to go to a doctor before you get pregnant. The other thing is, for moms who are going through even prematurity, at times we ask a lot of questions, why this has happened, my body has failed me, and all these things. I would like to encourage women to be strong. I know it is it's a very hard environment, and taking care of a premature baby can be expensive, can be, you segregate yourself because a premature baby is more susceptible to get infections or other things that a baby born term cannot be able to get. So we are very extra protective of people even coming to our house and allowing visitors and things like that. But I would really encourage moms to still remain strong for themselves and strong for their babies. And if there's need be, it is good to see a therapist and speak to someone about what you're going through. And sharing something is like half solved. So you'll feel better about it. I would also like to encourage women out there to like ZuriZulani Foundation page. We create awareness for everyone. So you would learn a lot even from the page, even if you're not from Kenya. So I would really encourage women to like our page too.
That's wonderful. We definitely want people coming on your page, going on your Instagram, on your Facebook, and liking, sharing it, and creating more awareness, because lots of people can be helped. And again, 2020 has showed us all the importance of having virtual training. So it's wonderful that you've also implemented that in your foundation, and now people from all over the world can access your resources and training. So that's perfect. Thank you so much for that. Thanks for sharing so much wisdom. If they had any quote or word of affirmation that has always helped you that you'd like to share?
Keep moving. When after the death of my baby, I felt like I've lost myself. I can't say I am out of grieving, because I still grieve my baby. There are days I still feel bad, but I will not, I said I'm not going to let myself break. I will keep moving. Yeah. Keep moving doesn't mean I have forgotten my baby. It means today I am down, tomorrow I'll wake up and I will keep moving. So that's been my mantra, to keep moving. Yeah.
I love it. Keep moving. That's so important. Yeah. And we can all implement that in all our lives and keep moving. And if there's a day that is not so easy, then we do our best to get through it and then hope for the better day the next day. So thank you so much for sharing that.
One day at a time.
Yes, one day at a time. Love it. So thank you so much, Ashley. You have been so, the information that you provided to us has been so valuable, such an insightful session. So thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. It's important that we keep raising awareness about pregnancy complications and the impact that it can have on the women and the babies. So I'm really glad that you're doing such great work in Kenya, and we'll be sharing your information and ensuring that it gets to all the parts of the world and even here in Nigeria as well, so we can also access your resources. So I'm sure that everyone listening has been inspired, and such an insightful session. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on here today, and we hope to have you again in the near future. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you very much, Ola.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Fertility Conversations podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a 5-star rating and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Fertility Conversations. If there are any topics you would like to have discussed, please send an email to fertilityconversations@gmail.com. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode. Thank you again for listening. Take care of yourself and do stay hopeful.